So now let's put some icons here, icons or buttons here. So let's come back here. So I want to go to the top here. Let me just copy this to save time. So copy. So down here, let me create a comment tag. So let's call this dashboard. So this will be the dashboard that takes us to the button that takes us to the dashboard. So under this, let's paste this. So let's change this to let's call this dashboard image. So dashboard image. Right here to change this to dashboard image. Okay. Then we change this to dashboard. We change this to dashboard as well. So let's copy this. So where you see logo, put dashboard. So on our dashboard, let's say this should be X should be 35 and our Y should be 200. So let's okay, I think it's left with the image. So I want to use dashboard icon.png. So let's launch it and see. So I think something's wrong. Okay, so I think the Y value is too high. So I think it should be 200. Okay, 285. I think. Or let's make it 289. So let's launch it again. So we have our dashboard icon place here. So when I want to add a label in front of it here. So down here, let's create a label. Name my label. So let's say self dot. Let's say dashboard. Dashboard test. We want to assign it to label. So we have our label. So we are putting it on the sidebar. So self.sidebar. So want to give it a name using the text. So let's say dashboard. Then the background color. So let's just copy this. So let's paste. Then we'll give it a font as well. So let's copy this. And paste. So the font size should be 13. Then we'll give it a border width BD, which is 0 as well. Then the cursor, because it's a button, we want the cursor to change to like a hand pointer. So when you change the cursor to hand 2. Then finally, give it an active background. Active background. So let's copy this color code. Paste it here. So now we'll place it on the window. So serve dot dashboard test dot place. So give it an x value of, let's say, 80 and y value, so 287. So let's launch it. So we have our dashboard test here. I think it should come down a little bit. So let's come back. So this is the y, so let's make it 289. I think it's still high, so let's make it 290 or 291. Yeah, I think that's pretty good now. So you can see the moment we put our icon and the button, it changes to a hand. So okay, sorry, I think this should be button, not label. Sorry, because it's a button, so it should be button. So let's launch it again. Okay, so you can see the button is clickable now. So we want to add more button. So let's add the manage button. So hash manage. So we want to define our manage button. So self, let's name it manage test. Or first, let's copy this color code. Sorry, the image. So down here, let's clear this and paste our image. So we are just going to edit it. So this should be our manage image. Same thing here. Change this to manage as well. Change this to manage. Same thing here, manage. So here we want to change the x value here. So this 35. So let's say this is 340. So let's launch this. Okay, we didn't change the image. So here, because we copied it, so the image repeated. So this should be manage icon.png. So we have our manage icon here. So we want to add a button, a test button. So down here we define our button. So serve dot manage test. So serve dot sidebar. So to avoid much time, let's copy all this, because you are going to need all this again. Just paste. So this should be manage. Okay. So I want to place it on our window now. So self.manage test dot place. So using the placing, we want to probably our x will be 80 and our y will be, let's say, 345. So we launch it again. We have our manage test, our manage button also placed nicely. So let's copy all of these. Let's come down here and paste it. So we change this to settings. So this should be settings image. So let me just copy, clear this settings image. So wherever we see manage, we just put settings there. So here, so this probably should be 80 as well. So maybe this should be 402. Should be 402 as well. So launch it and see. So we have our settings button, but I think we didn't change the settings icon. Supposed to change it to settings icon.png. So now we have our settings button also placed. So now the next thing we are going to do is, now you want to put the exist button beneath the settings button as well. So we have to copy the whole of this again. So copy, so paste. So this should be exit. So exit image. So we just copy, and as usual, wherever we see settings, we put exit there. So in the text area to put exit there. So all we have to change is the y. So our exit to be probably 462. Then right here to 462. Okay, let's make this 452. Probably this should be something like, let's say 85. This should be more like 25. They will change the icon to exit icon.png. So let's launch it and see what we got. So we have our exit button also nicely placed there. So now we are done with the sidebar. So now we are going back to the body. Then we'll put some stuffs here. So let's get back to the header. Okay, I think our body is here. So right beneath. So let's copy this image here. So right under this, just write a comment tag, type pie chart. So let's paste this here. So this should be pie chart image. So let's copy this. So wherever we see exit, you have to paste the pie chart there. So we just place this. It says 690. Maybe this is 70. So let's launch this. Okay, I think we are left with the image. So we need to change the image to pygraph1.png. So let's launch this. Okay, I think there's something wrong again here. So okay, pie chart. Okay, I think we're supposed to put this on the body frame because you are in the body frame here. So this is body frame 1. So let's launch it again. So we have a pie chart image here. So this is just a template. So for now, we're just giving it an idea of maybe what should go where. Maybe the near future, we are going to learn how to link row, graph, and pie chart to our dashboard. So that now we want to want to put the graph image on it as well. So let's copy this. So below here, let's paste. So this should be our graph. So here, right here, this should be our graph image. So let's copy this. So wherever we see pie chart, we just paste graph there. So this probably should be 40 and this should be 70. So let's launch it. Let's see what we got. Okay, we didn't change the image once, so back to the image side. So we are going to use the image graph.png. So now we have our graph nicely placed here. So now let's come to the 3 other frames here. So we want to put some labels here. Then we'll come back to the time on the sidebar. So here, let's close this. So let's copy this. So beneath here, so this is going to be total people, maybe total people in the app. So total people. So total people image. So let's come right here. Wherever we see graph, we just paste the total people there. So we want to change this to 2220. Then I think this should be 0. Then we need a label. So right beneath, okay, this should be body frame 2. This should be body frame 2. So underneath here, define self dot total people text. So we assign it to label. So we'll place it on the body frame 2. So self dot body frame 2. So we want to give it a text. Let's say 230. Then we want to give it a background. So we need to make the background blend with the body frame. So the color code of the body frame there is 00. I think it's 9AA5, I think. Then our font. So let's just copy this font here. So right here, let's just paste this. So we just change the font to 25. We need the text to be really big. Right, so let's just place it. So self dot total people text dot place. So we are placing it. So we want X should be probably 120. Now Y should be, let's say, 100. So let's launch this and see. Oh, okay, I think we didn't change the image as well. So this should be left icon PNG. So we have the total people here, but we have to change the background of the image. So we need to make the background of the image blend with this. So let's just copy this. So you can see now the background is blending with this body frame here. So 2 more frames. So let's just copy the whole of this. So let's just paste it here. So this should be total people. Total people displayed. So let's say this is total people who left. So let's say left. So total number of people who left maybe the place. So let's say, so let's just call it left image, to make it more understandable. People who left. So let's just copy this. Paste this here. Paste this here also. So change the background color here. Then we'll change. Okay, I think we'll maintain this. Then maybe we'll change the text. So this should be something like 5. So this will be body frame 3. Let's copy this color code. Paste it here as well. Okay, so I think this should come down a little bit here. So okay, we didn't even change. We need to change the text. So right here, let's change this to people who left. Then we change the font size to, let's say, 13. So right here we have people who left at the top here. So we need to place the data here. But before that, we need to also place another data of total people here. So let's get back here. So let's copy this. So under the total people, let's paste this. So let's say this is total people. Total people. Let's copy this color code. Replace it with this. Okay, I think we misplaced something. We need to change there. So this should be body frame 2. Okay, so we have our total people here. First, we need to complete the test. So let's get back here and copy this and paste it again. So let's change this to 120. And 100. So here, let's say 100 people left. So we'll change this to 25. Okay, let's change this test. Total people who left. Alright, so let's launch it and see. So we have number of people left. So let's say 100 people left. So we are left with the last one. So we have to copy the whole of this again. So this will be total earnings. So the image is probably going to be earnings. So n.png n3.png. So let's clear this. So this will be an image. So n so and figure, just to differentiate these two. So and figure. So right here, let's say this is for, say we earn $40,000. $40,000. So let's launch this. Okay, we need to change the background color as well, so that it will blend with the frame. So right here, so I think this should be, so let's copy this. So paste it here. Paste it here as well. So this should be 220 and 0. Okay, no, I think this should be like around, this should be 80. We need it to be around the middle. So this should be like 80, 100. So So let's check this and see. I think one more thing, we forgot to change the frame. This should be frame 4. Frame 4. Okay, so here we have one more thing. We forgot to change the text. So is okay, so now we are done with all the frames now. So final thing we are supposed to, we want to put the time at the top right, the topmost here. So let's come to the down here. So let's create a comment tag. So this will be time and date. So we need to define our clock. So we have self dot clock image. So let's just copy the whole of this and edit it to just save time. So this should be self dot clock image. So just change that. This should be time dot png. Then here as well should be clock image. Alright. So we change this to date time. So let's say this is date time label. So we are putting this on the sidebar. So we change this to sidebar as well, and the background will be white. So let's just copy this. So we change this to 88. We change this to 20. So right beneath this, I said is self dot date time. We assign date time to, we are creating a new label because we are creating date and time. So it's two different things at the same time. So date time. So self dot window. So the time will be at the down. So self dot date time dot place. So this should be 115. This should be equal to 15. Then we launch. We want to define a function. So let's call the function So let's say our function is, let's say self dot, let's call our function show time. So right under, let's create our function. So def show, I think it will be lowercase, show time. Then we have self. So self dot time. So we are going to set a time format. So we want to have our time dot, so strf time. So let's bring a double quote. So we want the format to be, so we want to display hours, then in minute, then seconds. So like that. So this is basically just like the format of the time. So maybe the hours, the minute, and the seconds. Then the date, the format of the date. So self dot, let's say date. So time. So let's say we want to display year slash, then we display that month slash, then finally we display our day. So slash day. So this will display our year first, then our month second, then our day. So this is more like the format. So self, so let's say set test. So this is the print function. So inside our print function, let's say we want to print self dot time and self dot date. And self dot date. So this, we set the format, so it means it's going to print the self dot time at the top, then followed by the self dot date, followed by that. So this means this will come at the, this will come below. So that's the meaning of this slash n here. It means this comes below the time. So now let's launch it then. So let's say self dot date time dot configure. So text, set text. So the set text, we define it here. So it means is you are printing this inside this, you are showing this inside the configure here. So font, let's give it a font. So once I want to maintain the default font, so we put empty strings there. So this should be 13. Then this should be bold. I want to set the border width to 0. we want the background to match with the sidebar, so white. So we need double quote here. So one foreground should be black. So finally, now let's say self dot date time dot after. So this is the count. So after 100, self dot show time. Self dot show time. I think let's indent. I think there's indentation here. So let's copy all this. So let's copy all this, then press tab to indent it inside there. So now let's launch it and see what we got. I think there is a mistake. That's a problem. Int object has no attribute items. Okay, I think the problem is here. Okay, I think this should be x is equal to 115. So let's launch it again. Okay, so now we have our date and time showing right here. So it means it's working now. So one last thing, you can see whenever we launch our page, these three frame here are hiding below the page. We want the whole thing to view well. So let's come back to the dashboard, the top here. So maybe somewhere below the zoomed. So let's say we need to turn the resizable off. So self dot, let's say window dot resizable. So I want to put it to 0, 0. So self window dot resizable 0, 0. So let's launch it again. So now you can see the page has now shifted. Initially this was hidden in the down. You can now see there is space under it. So that's because we turn off. So you can see now the maximize button here does not work because we turn window dot resizable off. So the maximize button cannot work here. So it means you cannot maximize your page. So that's the point. We want the page to automatically zoom by itself and remain this way. We don't want the user manipulating this page. So the reason why you need to turn the resizable off. So